Welcome to the present path. Throughout history, secret societies have woven a silent thread through the fabric of human civilization, often guiding the course of events from the shadows. Their influence has ranged from political manipulation to mystical practices, shaping cultures, religions, and empires in ways most of us never fully understand. These elusive groups, sometimes perceived as mysterious protectors of ancient wisdom, at other times as shadowy puppet masters, have intrigued and mystified generations. In this journey, we will explore 25 paradoxes that challenge our perceptions of power, control, and knowledge. Each section reveals a new layer of secrecy and hidden agendas, taking you deep into the heart of the unknown. From the rituals of Freemasons to the clandestine operations of the Illuminati, we will unravel the stories behind the most influential secret societies throughout history. As we delve into their worlds, you'll be led through a maze of paradoxes that blur the lines between fact, fiction, and conspiracy. Beneath the surface of history, hidden alliances have quietly shaped the destinies of nations and civilizations. These covert agreements, often formed in secrecy, transcend borders and ideologies, yet their impact reverberates across the centuries. A simple handshake or an encrypted letter can bind two powerful forces together, laying the foundation for events that will forever alter the course of history. The true nature of these alliances remains elusive, for the most potent ones are the ones most carefully concealed. Governments, powerful individuals, and secretive organizations have long understood the strategic importance of unity in darkness. They seek to form partnerships that remain invisible to the public eye, often rooted in mutual benefits that are too sensitive to share with the world. The necessity for secrecy in these pacts is paramount. An agreement forged in the shadows holds the power to maintain equilibrium and prevent the unraveling of power dynamics in Europe. For example, the 30 Years' War, 1618 to 1648, is often described in terms of religious and political conflicts, but beneath this narrative lies a web of covert alliances. The Protestant and Catholic powers of Europe secretly courted one another, aligning with rival factions to tip the balance in their favor. These hidden alliances were more than mere treaties. They were the lifeblood of intrigue and manipulation. By the time the war ended, Europe had been irrevocably reshaped, with new lines of influence drawn and old powers displaced. In the 20th century, the Cold War saw the rise of hidden alliances that would have been unthinkable in the public eye. The United States and the Soviet Union, locked in a global battle for supremacy, also found common ground in certain areas, often for pragmatic reasons. One of the most notable examples was their shared interest in defeating Nazi Germany during World War II. Despite their ideological differences, the two superpowers formed a temporary, albeit essential, alliance. What followed was a bitter rivalry in which these same forces would occasionally cooperate in the shadows to maintain the balance of power. These clandestine partnerships continue to this day, shaping global politics and economics. Corporations, intelligence agencies, and world leaders all understand the art of forming alliances that are never meant to see the light of day. It is in the shadows, away from the gaze of the public, where decisions are made that influence not just the fates of nations, but the very course of history. There is a power that operates not through force, but through silence, a power that moves behind the scenes, unseen and unfelt by the masses, yet capable of shifting the very tides of history. Silent power is the art of influence without the need for a loud presence, the ability to control without being recognized. It is a tool wielded by those who understand the subtle ways in which the world operates, who know that the most effective control is often the least visible. Silent power manifests itself in many forms. It can be found in the corridors of high government offices, where decisions are made behind closed doors, far removed from the prying eyes of the public. It is present in the boardrooms of multinational corporations, where the most critical moves are planned in quiet rooms with no witnesses, and it is often wielded by secret societies whose members understand that the greatest influence is achieved not by making noise, but by remaining in the background. One of the most profound examples of silent power lies in the influence of secret organizations like the Freemasons and the Illuminati. While these groups have long been rumored to hold sway over world affairs, their true influence is hard to measure and often entirely invisible. They operate in a space that is outside the public view, shaping political and social landscapes without ever revealing their hand. The idea that these organizations are pulling the strings from behind the curtain is not just a conspiracy theory. It is the essence of silent power that moves undetected, even in historical times. Silent power was a tool for those who knew how to use it. The Catholic Church, with its vast network of influence, is a prime example. During the Middle Ages, the Church controlled not only religious life, but also political and cultural affairs across Europe. Yet, much of this power was exercised not through direct rulership, but through subtle manipulation. By controlling knowledge, influencing kings, and guiding the moral direction of society, the Church maintained a form of power that was not necessarily overt, but deeply embedded in the fabric of everyday life. Today, silent power continues to be the driving force behind many of the world's most significant events. The creation of laws, the shaping of economic policies, and the direction of international diplomacy are often influenced by individuals and groups whose names are never known to the public. These unseen powers are the architects of change, working behind closed doors to steer the course of history without fanfare. There is knowledge that is not meant to be shared, hidden away in the corners of libraries and archives, locked behind secret codes and ancient symbols. This is veiled knowledge, knowledge that those in power seek to control, to keep away from the masses. It is the wisdom passed down through generations in whispered tones, safeguarded by the elite and shared only with those who are deemed worthy. To possess this knowledge is to hold the keys to influence, power, understanding that others can only dream of. Historically, veiled knowledge has often been tied to secret societies and esoteric orders. The ancient Egyptians, for instance, were known for their mysterious teachings, hidden from the public and reserved only for those initiated into their secrets. These teachings were not merely about spiritual enlightenment, but also contained profound insights into science, mathematics, and astronomy knowledge that would only be revealed to a select few. The very structure of their society was built around this knowledge, with the most powerful individuals in Egypt being those entrusted with its preservation. In the modern era, the concept of veiled knowledge has evolved, but the principle remains the same. The Freemasons, for example, are believed to have access to esoteric teachings that have been passed down through centuries. Teachings that encompass not only moral philosophy, but also ancient scientific principles. These teachings, cloaked in allegories and rituals, are shared only with initiates who prove themselves worthy of such sacred knowledge. The very nature of this knowledge, veiled, coded, mysterious, gives it an air of exclusivity and power, making it more potent than any information available to the general public. Veiled knowledge often operates in parallel with traditional forms of learning. While the masses are taught what is deemed necessary for their functioning in society, there exists a different, more selective stream of knowledge that is passed on only to the initiated. This hidden stream runs through the corridors of power, guiding decision makers and influencing the course of history in ways that are invisible to the general populace. From secret governmental documents to hidden archives in the Vatican, this knowledge is carefully guarded, only to be revealed at the right moment. If ever at all, in modern times, this type of knowledge is still sought after, though in different forms. Cryptography, for instance, is the modern equivalent of ancient codes, a means of hiding and protecting information that could be dangerous in the wrong hands. Governments and corporations alike protect their secrets with complex encryption, ensuring that certain knowledge remains veiled, out of reach of the common person. In this digital age, veiled knowledge takes on a new form, hidden within layers of code and digital security measures, still controlling the flow of information and power. What remains clear is that those who control the flow of knowledge, especially veiled knowledge, hold an immense amount of power. It is this control over information that has allowed secret societies to thrive, And it is this control that continues to shape the world today. The human thirst for meaning and belonging has often been channeled through ritual ceremonies that carry hidden messages, encoded in symbols and actions. Coded rituals, practiced by secret societies and ancient orders, are the gateway to a deeper understanding of the world, a bridge between the known and the unknown. These rituals are not simply performative acts, but contain layers of hidden meanings, passed down from one generation to the next, safeguarded by those who understand their true significance. In ancient Egypt, for instance, rituals were seen as more than religious practices. They were gateways to esoteric knowledge and personal transformation. The Egyptian mystery schools, where initiates were taught in secret, were built around complex rituals designed to guide the soul toward enlightenment. These rituals were not publicly known and could only be performed by those who were initiated into their mysteries. Through these rites, participants were believed to gain access to divine knowledge and wisdom, knowledge that was hidden from the general population. Similarly, Freemasons are known for their elaborate initiation rituals, which have captivated the imaginations of many. These rituals are shrouded in symbolism. Each act, each word, each gesture carries a hidden meaning. The initiation process is designed to challenge the initiate, to strip away the ego, and to lead them toward a higher understanding of themselves and the world around them. Yet, the deeper meanings of these rituals remain closely guarded, shared only with those who have proven their worth. The use of symbols, such as the square and compass, is meant to help initiates unlock the mysteries of the universe, but only if they understand the code. The rituals themselves are not just symbolic, they are also tools of power. Through these ceremonies, secret societies establish a strong bond between members, creating a sense of unity and shared purpose. The rituals reinforce the values and beliefs of the group, and through their practice, the initiate becomes part of something much larger than themselves. It is through these coded rituals that secret societies maintain their cohesion and their influence over time. The more secretive and enigmatic the ritual, the more powerful the bond it creates. In many ways, the codes embedded in these rituals are designed to transcend language, culture, and time. They are a form of universal communication that connects the initiate not only with the present moment, but also with the past and future. The rituals themselves become part of a timeless tradition, their meanings perpetually preserved, yet continuously evolving in the minds of those who participate. Even today, the legacy of these coded rituals continues to influence modern organizations. Initiation ceremonies, rites of passage, and corporate rituals all draw upon the same principal: secret knowledge, hidden meanings, and the creation of a shared identity. Whether in secret societies, religious orders, or corporate environments, these rituals remain a powerful means of control, shaping the way individuals think, behave, and interact with the world. The most powerful forces are often those that operate without being seen. Invisible influence is the art of shaping thoughts, behaviors, and decisions from the shadows without ever appearing in the foreground. It is the subtle, unnoticed guidance that directs the course of history and the lives of individuals, often without their conscious awareness. This form of influence has been a tool of secret societies, shadow governments, and elite groups throughout history who understand that control is most effective when it remains imperceptible. One of the most profound examples of invisible influence comes from the concept of propaganda. Governments and organizations have long used propaganda to sway public opinion and shape social dynamics. However, the true power of propaganda lies in its ability to influence minds without the individual realizing it. The tweeze of language, imagery, and repetition. Those who control the narrative can shape the thoughts and actions of entire populations. It is a form of psychological manipulation that, when done effectively, becomes invisible to the public eye, yet its effects are undeniably powerful. In the context of secret societies, invisible influence often takes on a more subtle form. For example, consider the role of the Illuminati in shaping political and social structures. Though the extent of their influence is often exaggerated, there is no denying that secret organizations like the Illuminati have been rumored to have shaped significant political events through their discreet manipulations. Their influence is not marked by public declarations or visible actions, rather by the quiet, unseen hand that guides leaders and nations. Invisible influence also operates through networks of power, such as the relationships between wealthy elites, business magnates, and political leaders. The power dynamics within these networks often operate without public scrutiny, where decisions are made in closed-door meetings or over private dinners. The public may see the outcomes of these decisions, policies, laws, and economic shifts, but rarely will they understand the invisible influence that brought them into being. These powerful networks rely on discretion and secrecy, ensuring that their influence remains out of sight while still shaping the world around them. Another example of invisible influence can be found in the world of espionage. Intelligence agencies operate in secrecy, gathering information, influencing foreign governments, and ensuring national security, all without the knowledge of the public. Their influence shapes global relations and events, yet it remains hidden behind layers of secrecy and covert actions. In this world of shadows, the true scope of influence is rarely revealed, making it one of the most powerful and enduring forces of modern geopolitics. In every instance, invisible influence operates not through overt control, but through subtler means, persuasion, manipulation, and guidance that go unnoticed. This silent power allows those who wield it to remain in control while evading detection. It is this form of influence that has shaped the course of empires, altered the outcomes of wars, and shifted the balance of power across the globe. Control is often most potent when it is not apparent, when it exists in the shadows, influencing lives and events without a visible hand guiding them. The shadows of control are the unseen mechanisms that determine the course of history, the silent forces that steer decisions, shape beliefs, and manipulate outcomes without ever coming to the surface. These forces often operate behind closed doors, that their true nature remains obscured, known only to those who hold the power to wield them. Throughout history, many of the greatest powers in the world have operated through the shadows of control. The ruling elites, monarchs, and leaders have understood that overt control often breeds resistance, while subtle manipulation can achieve much more lasting and effective results. In the shadows, decisions are made without public scrutiny, and the motives behind these decisions remain concealed, often hidden behind layers of misinformation or misdirection. One of the most famous examples of this kind of control comes from the period of absolute monarchies. Kings and queens ruled vast empires, but much of their power lay in their ability to manipulate both their courts and their subjects from behind the scenes. The true power of a monarch was not in the decree they issued from the throne, but in the quiet alliances they formed in secret chambers, the favors they granted in private meetings, and the loyalty they cultivated through covert means. These monarchs understood that their throne was not just secured by public displays of power, but by the delicate webs of influence and manipulation they spun in the shadows, secret societies. 2. have long existed as the architects of shadow control. The Freemasons, for instance, are often seen as one of the most powerful secret societies in history, and much of their influence is believed to have been exerted from the shadows. They operated in secrecy, shaping political and social landscapes through subtle means. The members of these societies understood that their true power did not lie in their public displays, but in the quiet conversations and agreements that took place in hidden corners. The leaders they influenced, whether in politics, business, or religion, would often be unaware that their decisions were being subtly steered by these unseen forces. Even in the modern world, the shadows of control remain ever present. Intelligence agencies, for example, operate as the unseen hand that guides national security policies, shapes foreign relations, and influences global power structures. Much of their work takes place in secrecy, with their true role in shaping history remaining hidden from the public. From espionage to covert operations, these agencies are masters of controlling the narrative from the shadows, manipulating events and shaping decisions in ways that the world may never fully understand. In corporate environments, too, shadows of control can be seen at play. The true power of large multinational corporations often lies not in the decisions made in the boardrooms, but in the behind-the-scenes negotiations, deals, and strategies that are never revealed to the public. These corporations operate with immense influence, shaping economies and policies from the shadows. The public may see their products and services, but rarely do they see the vast networks of influence and control that shape the corporate world at its core. The shadows of control are about keeping influence hidden, ensuring that power is exerted without detection. It is through this subtlety that the most powerful forces in history have maintained their grip on the world. By operating in the shadows, they ensure that their influence remains unchallenged and unseen, even as it quietly molds the course of history. The concept of the Brotherhood, a clandestine group bound by loyalty and shared beliefs, has been a key element in the foundation of many secret societies throughout history. It symbolizes a sense of unity and purpose, a powerful bond that unites individuals who are otherwise strangers, yet connected by a common cause. The term brotherhood often evokes images of secret meetings, hidden agendas, and an unspoken commitment to a cause that transcends individual lives. In these societies, members are bound by more than just the rituals they perform. They are bound by an unbreakable allegiance to one another and to the secrets they hold. The Freemasons, one of the most well-known brotherhoods in history, exemplified this ideal of unity. From their earliest origins in the medieval guilds of stonemasons to their modern-day incarnations, the Freemasons have maintained a sense of brotherhood that transcends borders, religions, and cultures. The bond between Freemasons is forged through secretive initiation rites, shared knowledge, and a commitment to mutual support. This bond is often so strong that members consider one another as brothers, a term that signifies not just fraternity, but a deep, lifelong connection that extends far beyond the rituals. However, the true power of these brotherhoods lies not in the rituals themselves, but in the network of influence they create. The Freemasons and other secret societies have long been suspected of exerting considerable influence over political, social, and economic affairs. Through their network of loyal members, these societies have been able to manipulate events and guide decisions without revealing their involvement. The very strength of the Brotherhood comes from the secrecy and trust that binds its members, making them powerful agents of change, even if the world remains unaware of their actions. The idea of a brotherhood also goes beyond specific organizations. Throughout history, powerful political movements and revolutions have been driven by groups of individuals united by a common cause, forming a brotherhood in the sense of shared ideology and purpose. Whether it was the revolutionary forces, of the French Revolution or the clandestine networks during the Cold War. Brotherhoods of like-minded individuals have shaped the trajectory of nations. These movements often operated in secrecy, with their members connected by their commitment to a cause that was often not understood or even known by the public. In these instances, the Brotherhood is not just a social group. It is a symbol of resistance, of collective strength, and of the power of hidden influence. The members of these secret networks understand that change is most often achieved through unity, through the quiet collaboration of individuals working toward a common goal. The bond between them becomes a source of power as they work together to achieve what would be impossible alone. And yet, their influence remains largely invisible. As they operate from the shadows, using their unity to shape events and alter the course of history, even today, brotherhoods continue to play a role in shaping global affairs, whether in the form of secret societies, exclusive organizations, or underground movements. The idea of brotherhood remains a powerful force. It is a bond that transcends individual identity and unites people in pursuit of a shared vision. It is through this unity that hidden power is cultivated and the course of history is quietly influenced. The roots of many secret societies trace back to ancient mystical and occult traditions, where knowledge was seen as both sacred and dangerous. The concept of the occult, hidden, esoteric wisdom that can only be accessed by the initiated has been a key component in the formation of powerful groups throughout history. These societies often claim to preserve ancient knowledge passed down through generations, preserving teachings that the common person is not meant to know. In this context, occult origins are not just a metaphor for mystery. They represent a profound connection to forces beyond the physical world, guiding the members of these groups toward greater spiritual or intellectual understanding. The ancient Egyptians are perhaps the most iconic example of a civilization steeped in occult practices. Their deep connection to the divine through practices like astrology, alchemy, and sacred geometry formed the basis for much of the esoteric knowledge that would later influence Western secret societies. The priests of ancient Egypt were regarded as the keepers of this occult knowledge, which was often passed down only through initiation into the priesthood. They practiced rituals that were believed to connect them with the gods, unlocking mystical powers and wisdom that were unavailable to the general populace in medieval Europe. Occult knowledge was intertwined with the rise of alchemy, astrology, and the study of the mystical arts. During this period, secret societies began to emerge that focused on preserving and passing down this hidden wisdom. Rosicrucians, for example, were an esoteric group that sought to combine alchemy, mysticism, and scientific knowledge into a unified worldview. They believed that hidden knowledge could lead to enlightenment and the transformation of both the individual and society. This search for hidden knowledge became central to many of the mystical traditions that have persisted into modern secret societies. The Freemasons, too, are believed to have occult origins, drawing much of their symbolism and ritual from ancient mystical traditions, while their public image is often associated with brotherhood and charitable work. Their deeper rituals and teachings are rooted in the occult. Freemasonic symbols such as the compass, square, and the all-seeing eye are rich in esoteric meaning, pointing to the belief that the initiate must seek out hidden truths to reach enlightenment. These symbols are not just decorative. They are coded representations of deeper spiritual and philosophical principles that only those who have passed through the initiatory process can truly understand. Similarly, the Illuminati, another secret society that has captured the public imagination, is often associated with the occult, though their true influence is often exaggerated. The Illuminati's commitment to the pursuit of knowledge and the uncovering of hidden truths has led to their connection with the occult. Their principles, which were founded on the ideals of enlightenment and the quest for knowledge, have been linked to the idea of secret occult knowledge that should be guarded and passed on only to those deemed worthy. The Illuminati's very existence symbolizes a desire to break free from the constraints of traditional religions and institutions, seeking instead a deeper, more hidden understanding of the world. In many ways, the occult origins of secret societies represent a desire for control over the knowledge that shapes the world. By keeping this knowledge hidden and accessible only to a select few, these societies maintain power and influence over the course of history. The pursuit of this forbidden wisdom is not just about understanding the physical world, but about unlocking spiritual and philosophical truths that transcend ordinary human comprehension. These occult teachings have persisted through centuries, influencing the development of Western thought and continuing to play a central role in the formation of modern secret societies. Throughout history, leaders have often been presented to the public in carefully constructed personas, shaped and maintained to mask the true nature of their influence. The masked leader is a figure who operates in the open, but is carefully veiled behind a facade, allowing them to maneuver in ways that would otherwise be impossible. These leaders often serve as symbols, their true intentions and allegiances hidden behind a carefully curated image, enabling them to wield power from the shadows, whether through political posturing, social manipulation, or strategic alliances. Masked leaders guide societies in subtle and unexpected ways. Their true motivations often veiled from the public eye. One of the most iconic examples of a masked leader is Niccolo Machiavelli, whose writings on power dynamics have influenced generations of rulers. In his seminal work, The Prince Machiavelli argued that the leader must be willing to deceive and manipulate to maintain power. His concept of the masked leader is one who appears virtuous and just to the public while secretly employing ruthless tactics behind closed doors. This duality is a hallmark of many political figures throughout history who have learned to navigate the delicate balance between public perception and the realities of power. A more modern example can be found in the world of corporate governance, where CEOs and business leaders often wear the mask of a charismatic, visionary figure. In reality, these leaders may operate with far different agendas, manipulating the stock market, influencing legislation, and controlling economic systems in ways that the public is unaware of. Much like political leaders, these masked figures are often celebrated in the media for their apparent genius, while their true actions and intentions remain hidden. The persona of a visionary leader is a powerful tool, one that helps to maintain public support and masks the darker aspects of their decision-making processes. The rise of dictators throughout the 20th century also highlights the power of masked leadership. Leaders like Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, and Benito Mussolini presented themselves to their populations as strong, charismatic figures, willing to fight for the good of the nation. Behind this image, however, they orchestrated some of the most brutal and destructive policies in history. Their masks allowed them to rally masses to their cause while carrying out violent repression and purges that maintained their grip on power. Even in the realm of religion, masked leadership plays a significant role. Popes, high priests, and spiritual leaders often present themselves as divine intermediaries, their authority unchallenged by their followers. Yet, their true motivations and actions can be quite different. The Vatican, for example, has long been associated with secrecy and hidden agendas, particularly concerning matters of wealth, politics, and power. The Pope, while regarded as the spiritual leader of millions, is also a political figure who influences global decisions, shaping the direction of countries and entire societies while keeping his true intentions concealed. In all these examples, the power of the masked leader lies in the ability to maintain control while remaining distant from the darker aspects of governance. By presenting a carefully crafted public image, these leaders can manipulate their followers, influence events, and maintain power in ways that would be impossible if their true nature were known. The mask becomes a shield, protecting them from scrutiny and allowing them to carry out their actions without fear of public backlash. In the world of secret societies, this concept of masked leadership is crucial for maintaining influence while staying under the radar, ensuring that the leaders of these organizations remain unseen yet omnipotent. Throughout history, there have been groups that devoted themselves to the pursuit of hidden truths, often forming secretive mystic orders that combine spiritual knowledge with esoteric wisdom. These mystic orders transcend conventional, religious, or philosophical boundaries, seeking to unlock the mysteries of the universe and the human soul. Their members often believe that through initiation, ritual, and personal transformation, they can access deeper truths about existence, truths that are unavailable to the general population. These orders, cloaked in secrecy, have played a pivotal role in shaping the philosophical, religious, and scientific thought of their time. One of the most famous mystic orders is the Rosicrucians, a group that emerged in the early 17th century and was dedicated to the study of alchemy, astrology, and other esoteric disciplines. The Rosicrucians were known for their secretive practices and for the writings they produced, which blended spiritual teachings with a vision of scientific and social reform. The order's members believed that by combining ancient occult wisdom with modern scientific principles, they could transform both the individual and society, although their influence was largely hidden. The ideas of the Rosicrucians contributed significantly to the development of Enlightenment thinking, particularly in Europe, where their ideas on knowledge, science, and spirituality resonated with prominent thinkers. In parallel to the Rosicrucians, the Freemasons have long been associated with mysticism. Although often viewed as a fraternal organization, the Freemasons' origins are deeply rooted in the mystic traditions of medieval guilds, where the symbols and rituals they use today were born. For the Freemasons, the pursuit of hidden knowledge is not just intellectual, but spiritual. Their rituals, rich with symbolism, are meant to guide the initiate toward greater self-awareness and enlightenment. The concept of the great architect of the universe, central to Freemasonry, draws on the idea of a divine force that can be understood through mystical knowledge and personal transformation. While the Freemasons may outwardly present themselves as a charitable organization, their deeper purposes often remain hidden, tied to the mystic traditions that guide their members' actions. Another notable mystic order is the Golden Dawn, an esoteric organization founded in the late 19th century. Its members were dedicated to the study of the occult, including Kabbalah, alchemy, and ceremonial magic. The Golden Dawn is often seen as one of the most influential occult groups in modern history, with notable members like Aleister Crowley, who would later go on to shape modern occultism. The order's teachings focused on spiritual enlightenment, with an emphasis on the personal transformation of the initiate. Through a series of graded initiations, members of the Golden Dawn were believed to gain access to secret knowledge, locking powers of the mind and spirit. Like other mystic orders, the Golden Dawn operated in secrecy. Its influence often felt only indirectly through the occult practices and philosophies it introduced to the world. Mystic orders, while often seen as fringe or mysterious, have had a profound impact on history. They have influenced art, literature, science, and politics, often shaping the intellectual currents of their time. The mystical tradition, with its focus on hidden knowledge and personal transformation, has provided a framework for individuals seeking a deeper understanding of the universe, whether through the pursuit of alchemical secrets or the study of sacred geometry. Mystic orders have offered a path toward enlightenment that is accessible only to a select few in the modern era. The legacy of mystic orders continues to influence various spiritual and philosophical movements. From New Age philosophies to contemporary occult practices, the pursuit of hidden knowledge remains a powerful force in the search for meaning and understanding. While the orders themselves may no longer hold the same clandestine power they once did. Their teachings continue to resonate with those who seek to unlock the deeper mysteries of life and existence. In the world of secret societies, alliances and agreements are often forged in the shadows under conditions of extreme confidentiality. These pacts, sometimes called secret pacts, go beyond simple treaties. They are solemn commitments made in secrecy, binding individuals or groups to an unspoken but deeply understood set of principles and actions. These pacts are often seen as the foundation of a society's power, providing the leverage needed to carry out their hidden agendas and manipulate events without exposure. What makes secret pacts so powerful is not merely the agreement itself, but the unwavering loyalty it demands from its members, ensuring that all involved parties act in unison to achieve their collective goals. One of the most well-known secret pacts in history was the agreement between the various European monarchs and nobles who formed the backbone of the early Freemasons. Though publicly, the Freemasons have always presented themselves as a benevolent society committed to charity and moral instruction. The real power of the organization lies in the secret pacts made within their ranks. These pacts are often sealed by initiation rituals, which not only bind the members to one another, but also to the mission of the organization. Whether that mission is to preserve certain ideologies, influence governments, or manipulate social structures. A similar example can be found in the creation of the Illuminati in 1776 by Adam Weishaupt, a secretive group that aimed to promote Enlightenment values while secretly working against religious and political oppression. The Illuminati's founding members created a pact that committed them to subversive activities hidden from the public eye, in order to bring about a more rational, secular world order. This secret pact outlined the group's goals: undermining monarchies, controlling educational institutions, and fostering a world free of religious influence. Although the Illuminati was formally disbanded, rumors of its continued existence persist to this day, largely because of the belief that such secret pacts have far-reaching consequences, even long after their apparent dissolution. Another significant example of a secret pact can be found in the diplomatic relations between the USSR and Nazi Germany prior to World War II. The Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, signed in 1939, was a non-aggression agreement between the two powers, which shocked the world. Given the ideological differences between communism and fascism, the pact, though publicly seen as a political maneuver, was in fact a secret arrangement, enabling both countries to divide and conquer Europe without interference from one another. The true nature of this pact remained hidden from the public until years later, revealing how such secretive agreements can have far-reaching and destructive consequences throughout history. These secret pacts have not always been between nations or large organizations. Often, they are the result of informal alliances between powerful individuals who, by aligning their interests in secrecy, are able to shape global events. In politics, business, and even within criminal organizations, secret pacts are made that determine the fate of empires, industries, and societies. There's two powerful families controlling a region's economy, or a group of elite businessmen colluding to influence policy. Secret pacts are an essential tool for those who seek to control the world from the shadows. The power of a secret pact lies in its secrecy. As long as the pact remains hidden, the parties involved can carry out their plans without fear of exposure or opposition. It is only when these agreements are revealed, often by whistleblowers or leaks, that their true impact becomes clear. Until then, secret pacts remain the unseen hands shaping history quietly and subtly, directing the flow of power and influence. There's a kind of knowledge that exists beyond the boundaries of conventional understanding. Knowledge that has been deliberately hidden or suppressed for fear of its potential to change the world. This forbidden wisdom encompasses ancient teachings, radical philosophies, and forbidden practices that challenge the established order. Over the centuries, this knowledge has been guarded by secret societies, occultists, contists, and intellectual rebels who understand that the truth is widely known, could disrupt the very foundations of society. To possess forbidden wisdom is to hold a key that could unlock a deeper understanding of the universe, but at great risk to one's place within the established social or political structure. The concept of forbidden wisdom has deep roots in the history of secret societies. The Knights Templar, for instance, were rumored to have discovered sacred knowledge during their time in the Holy Land. Knowledge that was so powerful and dangerous that it could bring down entire kingdoms. Many believed that the Templars' immense wealth and influence were directly tied to their possession of this forbidden wisdom. However, when the Templars were disbanded in the early 14th century, the knowledge they guarded was thought to have been hidden or lost, creating an enduring mystery that has captivated historians and conspiracy theorists alike. Similarly, the pursuit of forbidden wisdom was central to the alchemists of the Renaissance. Alchemists, such as Nicholas Flamel and Paracelsus, were seen not only as scientists and chemists, but as seekers of hidden knowledge. They believed that through their experiments with transmutation in the search for the Philosopher's Stone, they could unlock the secrets of immortality and eternal life. This knowledge was considered so potent that it was not to be shared lightly. Alchemists often encoded their discoveries in cryptic symbols, making it difficult for outsiders to decipher their findings. To those who sought this forbidden wisdom, the rewards were immense morality, untold riches, and a deeper connection to the mysteries of existence in more modern times. Forbidden wisdom has manifested in the form of suppressed scientific discoveries, philosophical movements, and radical ideologies that have challenged mainstream thought. Consider the work of figures like Nikola Tesla, whose inventions were ahead of his time and were believed by many to be so revolutionary that they posed a threat to the established power structures. Tesla's theories on free energy, for instance, could have transformed the global energy industry, but they were largely suppressed by powerful corporate and governmental forces who stood to lose control over the energy market. Tesla's hidden knowledge, his forbidden wisdom, was buried in his unpublished works, and much of it remains unknown to this day. In the world of secret societies, the pursuit of forbidden wisdom often goes hand in hand with the quest for enlightenment. Initiates of the Freemasons, for example, are taught that true knowledge comes not from public education, but from esoteric teachings passed down through the ages. These teachings, hidden from the uninitiated, are believed to offer a path to spiritual and intellectual illumination. However, this knowledge is not freely given. The secrets of the Freemasons, like those of many other secret societies, are kept from the public to maintain the exclusivity and power of the organization. Forbidden wisdom also plays a central role in many of the world's most influential religions. In Christianity, for example, the Gnostic Gospels were considered so controversial that they were excluded from the Bible. These texts, which offered a radically different interpretation of Christ's teachings, were suppressed for centuries. Similarly, in the Islamic tradition, there are texts and teachings that have been hidden or forgotten, including the mystical practices of Sufism that delve into the deeper spiritual truths of existence. Across cultures and religions, forbidden wisdom remains a potent force, capable of challenging established norms and altering the course of history. At its core, forbidden wisdom is about knowledge that lies outside the accepted boundaries of society, knowledge that could radically alter the way we perceive the world, if only it were to be unlocked. It is the wisdom that remains out of reach, hidden behind layers of secrecy, and guarded by those who understand the dangers of its revelation. In a world where power is often maintained through the control of information, forbidden wisdom remains one of the most valuable and dangerous commodities. Esoteric paths represent journeys of knowledge and self-discovery that lead beyond the ordinary, accessible world. These paths are shrouded in mystery and available only to those who are willing to delve deeper than what is publicly known or understood. The knowledge gained along these paths is not intended for the masses, but is reserved for those few initiates who are ready to unlock hidden truths about existence, consciousness, and the universe itself. The esoteric is often contrasted with the exoteric, the outward public teachings meant for general consumption, while the exoteric path seeks to instruct and control. The esoteric path leads to enlightenment and personal transformation, often hidden beneath layers of symbolism, myth, and ritual. The tradition of esotericism dates back to the ancient world, where it was practiced in secret by societies such as the mystery schools of Egypt, Greece, and Rome. In these schools, students underwent rigorous training to access the deeper, hidden knowledge that was believed to unlock the mysteries of the cosmos. The Egyptian mystery schools, for example, were known to teach wisdom that went far beyond what was available to the public. Initiates were taught not only about the gods and the afterlife, but also about the nature of reality, the soul, and the divine order that governs the universe. These teachings were passed down through secret rites and symbols, accessible only to those who had been initiated into the mysteries. Similarly, the ancient Greek philosopher Pythagoras and his followers pursued an esoteric path that combined mathematics, music, and spirituality. Pythagoras believed that the universe was governed by mathematical principles, and that by understanding these principles, one could gain access to deeper spiritual truths. His teachings were not meant for the masses. They were reserved for a select group of initiates who followed a strict code of conduct and lived, in a community focused on the pursuit of wisdom and spiritual growth. The Pythagorean order embodied the esoteric ideal, the belief that true knowledge could only be attained by those who were willing to embark on a journey of deep inner transformation. In the Middle Ages, esoteric traditions continued to thrive, particularly in the form of alchemy, astrology, and the Kabbalah. Alchemists, for example, were not merely concerned with the physical process of turning base metals into gold, but with achieving spiritual purification and enlightenment. They believed that by transmuting the material world, they could uncover hidden spiritual truths and attain a higher state of being. The work of alchemists was deeply symbolic, filled with coded language and obscure imagery that could only be understood by those who had been initiated into the secrets of the craft. The Kabbalah, a form of Jewish mysticism, is another key esoteric tradition. It teaches that the ultimate truth of the universe can be understood through the study of sacred texts and the interpretation of hidden meanings. Kabbalists believe that the physical world is only a veil for the deeper spiritual reality, and by unlocking the hidden layers of meaning in sacred texts, one could attain mystical knowledge and a closer connection with the divine. The teachings of the Kabbalah were traditionally passed down from teacher to student, and it was only through initiation and deep study that the true teachings could be understood in modern times. Esoteric paths have persisted in the form of various spiritual and occult traditions. Secret societies, such as the Freemasons and the Rosicrucians, continue to operate with a focus on esoteric wisdom, passing down teachings that are designed to awaken the initiate to a higher state of consciousness. These groups use ritual, symbolism, and allegory to convey complex spiritual teachings that are not meant to be understood by the uninitiated. The emphasis is always on personal transformation and changing the individual at a deep spiritual level in order to unlock their full potential. Today, many people still seek esoteric paths to spiritual enlightenment, often turning to practices such as meditation, yoga, and occult studies. Occultic, the rise of New Age philosophies, has also brought esotericism into the mainstream, though much of its deeper teachings remain hidden from public view. For those who embark on these paths, the journey is one of self-discovery, where the ultimate goal is not just to acquire knowledge, but to experience a profound spiritual awakening. The beauty and danger of the esoteric path is that it leads to knowledge that has the potential to transform the individual in ways that cannot be undone. It is a path of initiation, where each step taken brings the seeker closer to understanding not just the world around them, but the depths of their own soul. And though it remains hidden, this esoteric knowledge continues to influence those who seek it, shaping their actions, decisions, and understanding of life itself. In the complex web of history, there are forces that operate behind the scenes, unseen by the public eye, yet they wield immense power and influence. These are the invisible hands that guide the course of events, shape policies, and determine the direction of societies without leaving a trace. Often, these forces are not individuals, but networks of people, organizations, even ideologies that quietly pull the strings of power, manipulating situations to their advantage. The influence of these invisible hands is felt in everything from economic systems to political decisions, and they remain largely hidden from public scrutiny. The concept of the invisible hand is most famously associated with the economist Adam Smith, who used it to describe how individuals acting in their own self-interest unintentionally promote the public good. However, in the context of secret societies and hidden forces, the invisible hand represents something more insidious, a force that manipulates not for the public good, but for the benefit of a select few. The true power of these invisible hands lies in their ability to remain unnoticed, to shape the world without ever revealing their presence. One of the clearest examples of invisible hands at work can be seen in the world of international finance. The actions of major financial institutions like central banks, investment firms, and hedge funds often go unnoticed by the general public, yet their decisions can have a profound impact on the global economy. These institutions, while publicly operating within the bounds of the law, often work behind the scenes to influence market conditions, manipulate stock prices, and sway political decisions. Through complex financial instruments, insider trading, and political lobbying, these invisible hands shape the economy in ways that are beyond the understanding of the average person. In politics, invisible hands are also at work, controlling the direction of national and international policy. Lobbyists, think tanks, and influential donors often pull the strings of elected officials, guiding them toward decisions that benefit their own interests rather than the interests of the public. While these figures may not be publicly visible, their influence can be seen in the policies and laws that are enacted, often without the public ever knowing who is truly behind them. The secrecy of these arrangements ensures that power remains concentrated in the hands of a few, while the masses are left in the dark, unaware of the forces at play. In the realm of secret societies, the invisible hand takes on a more direct role. Groups like the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and the Bilderberg Group are often rumored to be pulling the strings of world events, subtly influencing leaders and shaping global affairs. These organizations operate in secrecy, using their networks of influence to steer the course of history without ever publicly revealing their true power. Through their members in positions of authority, whether in government, business, or religion, these societies are believed to guide policies, sway elections, and control the flow of information. The concept of invisible hands can also be applied to the world of media and information. In the modern world, media conglomerates and tech giants control the narrative that shapes public opinion. Manipulation of news stories, social media algorithms, and advertising. These invisible hands determine what information the public receives, and more importantly, what information is suppressed. The control of information is one of the most powerful tools of the invisible hand, as it allows those who control the narrative to shape the perceptions and beliefs of entire societies. What makes the invisible hand so powerful is that it operates without resistance. Because it remains hidden, it is difficult to challenge or even identify. Those who are affected by its influence may not even realize they are being manipulated, as the forces at play remain in the background, directing events from behind the scenes. The invisible hand is a master of subtlety, shaping the world in ways that seem natural, inevitable, and beyond the control of any individual. However, the existence of these hidden forces does not mean that they are invincible. The more these invisible hands operate unchecked, the more likely they are to be exposed. Whistleblowers, investigative journalists, and truth-seeking individuals play a vital role in uncovering these hidden forces, shining a light on the mechanisms of power that operate in secrecy. Though these invisible hands may continue to influence events for a time, their true nature can eventually be revealed, challenging the dominance they once held over society. Throughout history, there have existed intricate webs of influence and communication, passed down through generations between distant lands, powerful individuals, and secretive societies. These ancient networks were often the backbone of the most powerful empires and civilizations, serving as the silent engines that drove their expansion, maintained their control, and ensured their secrecy. These networks operated in the shadows, unknown to the general public. Yet they were essential in shaping the course of history, connecting people and ideas across vast distances long before modern technology made such connections possible. One of the most enduring examples of ancient networks is the Silk Road, a series of trade routes that connected East and West, facilitating not only the exchange of goods, but also the flow of ideas, culture, and knowledge. Though it is primarily remembered for its role in commerce, the Silk Road also served as a conduit for the spread of religion, science, and esoteric teachings. It was through these ancient networks that Buddhism, Islam, and various forms of mystical thought traveled from their places of origin to distant lands, influencing the development of entire civilizations in Europe. The medieval period saw the rise of secretive networks of merchants, bankers, and nobles who controlled vast swaths of the economy and political power. These individuals often operated in the shadows, manipulating events and amassing wealth through their intricate cross-border alliances. One of the most notable examples of such an ancient network was the Medici family in Italy, whose banking empire stretched across Europe. The Medici not only controlled vast economic resources, but also had a deep involvement in political and religious affairs, exerting their influence in ways that were often hidden from the public eye. Their network of influence extended far beyond their own time, shaping the course of European history and the Renaissance in the East. The ancient network of the Chinese imperial court was another example of how secretive alliances could shape the fate of a nation. The emperor's court was composed of a web of officials, diplomats, and military leaders, many of whom operated in secrecy to maintain the stability and power of the empire. These officials often communicated through clandestine channels, using coded messages and hidden networks to avoid detection by foreign powers or rival factions. The secretive nature of these networks allowed the Chinese empire to maintain its dominance for centuries, despite constant threats from invaders and internal power struggles. Religious networks have also played a significant role in shaping ancient societies. The spread of Christianity in the Roman Empire, for example, was made possible by a network of early missionaries and followers who communicated and spread the teachings of Christ in secret. These networks often operated in hostile environments, with Christian communities meeting in hidden locations and using coded symbols, such as the fish, to identify themselves. Over time, these underground networks helped to establish Christianity as a major force in the Western world, despite attempts to suppress it by the ruling authorities. Similarly, the ancient networks of mystics and philosophers in Greece, Egypt, and the Near East formed the foundation of many esoteric traditions. Thinkers like Pythagoras, Plato, and the Egyptian priests established networks of followers who passed down their knowledge in secret, often through oral traditions or hidden texts. These teachings often focused on the nature of reality, the cosmos, and the soul, were shared only with the initiated, ensuring that the most profound insights remained hidden from the general population. In more recent history, the concept of ancient networks has been revived through the study of the Freemasons and other secret societies. These organizations have long been rumored to have networks that span across nations, maintaining a global web of influence. The Masonic Brotherhood, in particular, is believed to have extended its reach far beyond local chapters, connecting members from different countries, industries, and political spheres. This network of individuals, bound by secret oaths and rituals, has been accused of influencing political decisions, economic systems, and social structures from behind the scenes, perpetuating a system of power that remains largely invisible to the outside world. What ties these ancient networks together is their ability to remain hidden from public view while still exerting profound influence over the course of history, whether through the spread of religion, the control of trade, or the manipulation of political power. These networks have shaped the destinies of civilizations, often leaving little trace of their presence. They are the silent architects of history, shaping the world from behind the curtain, invisible yet omnipresent in their impact. Throughout history, cryptic movements have emerged, often cloaked in mystery, their true intentions hidden beneath layers of symbolism, secrecy, and coded messages. These movements, while appearing enigmatic on the surface, have played significant roles in shaping political, social, and religious landscapes. Their cryptic nature allows them to thrive in environments of control and repression, spreading ideas and ideologies in ways that are hard to detect and even harder to combat. These movements often operate with a sense of urgency, driven by a deep conviction that their ideas can change the world, even if they must do so in secret. One of the most influential cryptic movements in history is the early Christian Church, which began as a small, clandestine group within the Roman Empire. Early Christians were forced to practice their faith in secrecy, meeting in underground catacombs and using symbols like the fish ictus to identify themselves. Their movement, cryptic in nature due to the persecution they faced, was driven by the belief in a revolutionary new understanding of spirituality. What started as a small, hidden movement would eventually grow to become one of the world's most powerful religious institutions, shaping the course of history for centuries. The rise of revolutionary movements throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, such as those that led to the French and American revolutions, also relied on cryptic actions. Revolutionaries often communicated their ideas through secret codes, pamphlets, and symbols, circumventing the censorship and oppression of the ruling powers. These movements thrived on the idea of secrecy, underground struggle for freedom and equality, where cryptic symbols like the clenched fist or the use of clandestine meetings became tools for uniting the oppressed against their oppressors. The world of secret societies also provides examples of cryptic movements. The Freemasons, for example, have long been associated with cryptic rituals, secret handshakes, and hidden messages within their symbols. To the uninitiated, these rituals appear cryptic, but to those who understand, they offer access to a deeper understanding of morality, philosophy, and personal transformation. While the Freemasons are often seen as a fraternal organization, their cryptic nature, hidden in plain sight, has led to speculation about their true influence over political and economic systems around the world. Similarly, the rise of radical political movements in the 20th century often involved cryptic symbols and messages that were difficult for the broader population to decipher. Groups like the Bolsheviks in Russia used coded language, underground publications, and secret meetings to plan the overthrow of the Russian Empire. The cryptic nature of these movements allowed them to organize and gain support in secret, until they were strong enough to bring about dramatic changes in society. Even today, cryptic movements can be seen in the form of underground activists, groups, hacker collectives, and global political movements that operate in the shadows. Groups like Anonymous, the Global Hacking Collective, use cryptic symbols and cryptography to communicate and carry out their actions, often exposing corruption and injustice while remaining anonymous. The use of masks, pseudonyms, and hidden digital footprints allows these movements to operate with a level of security that is impossible for traditional organizations to replicate. What makes cryptic movements so powerful is their ability to remain hidden, allowing them to subvert the dominant narratives and challenge established structures without being detected. They thrive in secrecy, using symbolism, codes, and hidden messages to unite individuals who share a common cause. The more cryptic the movement, the harder it is for authorities to suppress, making it an ideal method for spreading radical ideas and challenging the status quo. However, once the cryptic nature of these movements is deciphered, their true power is revealed, often influencing the course of history in ways that are both profound and far-reaching. Ultimately, cryptic movements operate under the belief that change is most effective when it is concealed, growing in power until it can no longer be ignored. Their secrecy becomes their strength, allowing them to challenge the established order from the shadows, till their ideas have the power to reshape the world. There are certain truths that circulate, not in public discourse, but in hushed whispers, passed from one person to another in secretive corners of the world. These whispered secrets often carry immense power, as they have the ability to reveal hidden aspects of reality truths that, when exposed, can shatter the illusions people live under. These secrets are often guarded by those who possess them, knowing that the wrong revelation at the wrong time can cause chaos or upheaval, whether political, social, or personal. Whispered secrets are the quiet engines of change, often working unnoticed until their revelations erupt into the open. Throughout history, whispered secrets have been the currency of spies and diplomats who exchange information in secret meetings or through coded messages. The realm of espionage is particularly rife with these whispered secrets, intelligence gathered and shared through clandestine means, influencing wars, political landscapes, and global diplomacy without ever being known to the public. One example can be found in the Cold War era, where both the United States and the Soviet Union relied heavily on covert operations and espionage to gain an upper hand. The KGB and the CIA, each in their own way, dealt in whispered secrets that shaped the course of international relations, from undercover operatives planting information to secret meetings between diplomats. These whispers carried significant weight and were often the deciding factor in major decisions. Whispered secrets have also been at the core of conspiracies throughout history, from the rumored existence of the Illuminati to the alleged manipulation of world events by shadowy global elites. These secrets continue to circulate, and whispers often become the source of many theories and beliefs. Some of these secrets are intentionally fabricated, while others are based on actual events or facts that have been obscured by time and those who wish to keep them hidden. In either case, these whispered secrets feed into the collective imagination, creating myths, legends, and narratives that blur the lines between truth and fiction. The allure of whispered secrets lies in their exclusivity. To be the recipient of a whispered secret is to be part of an inner circle of privileged few who know what others do not. This exclusivity gives these secrets an air of importance and intrigue, making them valuable not only for their content, but for the status they confer upon those who possess them. Often, those who hold such secrets may use them as leverage, bargaining chips in negotiations or in the pursuit of power. The knowledge of a whispered secret can be a potent weapon, one that allows its bearer to control situations, people, and even entire nations without revealing the source of their power. Religious movements have also long relied on whispered secrets to spread their messages and maintain control. In early Christianity, for example, teachings were often passed on secretly, hidden in the parables and allegories of the Bible. Early Christian communities were known to gather in secret, avoiding persecution from the Roman authorities. The secrecy of these early believers added to the mystique and power of the faith, as only those who were initiated into the inner circle of believers truly understood the full message. This tradition of secrecy continued in many other religious and spiritual movements, with esoteric knowledge being passed down only to those deemed worthy. Even in the modern world, whispered secrets continue to thrive. In the world of corporate politics, high-level meetings and private deals are often sealed with promises of secrecy. Corporate leaders, government officials, and powerful elites routinely exchange information and make decisions that impact millions, often with little to no public knowledge of the true forces at play. These whispered secrets are not just about hidden knowledge. They are about maintaining control over information, ensuring that only those in the know have the power to influence events. In a world where information is power, those who can keep secrets and control the narrative are the ones who hold the keys to influence. Whispered secrets also serve as a form of resistance, allowing subversive ideas to spread in environments where open discourse is forbidden. In totalitarian regimes where free speech is suppressed, the exchange of whispered secrets becomes a method of defiance, a way for individuals to share the truth without attracting the attention of the authorities. These whispered secrets can be about anything from forbidden literature to hidden resistance movements, often forming the backbone of a silent rebellion that, over time, leads to larger shifts in power. The very nature of whispered secrets, fleeting, elusive, and often unverifiable, gives them an almost magical quality. They are both a source of knowledge and a weapon, a tool for shaping the world from behind the scenes. While they may seem insignificant on the surface, whispered secrets have the power to change the course of history, one quiet word at a time. Revolutions are often thought of as loud, dramatic events that shake the foundations of societies. However, not all revolutions are marked by violent uprisings. Some of the most profound revolutions in history have occurred quietly in the shadows as ideas and ideologies spread subtly among the masses. These silent revolutions may not capture the headlines or the attention of the public eye, but they can ultimately reshape the world just as dramatically as their louder counterparts. These revolutions occur within individuals, within societies, and across entire civilizations. As silent forces shift the way people think, behave, and organize themselves. One of the most significant examples of a silent revolution is the rise of the Enlightenment in the 17th and 18th centuries. Though it did not manifest as an organized revolt against existing governments, it fundamentally altered the intellectual and social landscape of Europe. Philosophers like John Locke, Voltaire, and Immanuel Kant spread ideas about liberty, individual rights, and rational thought, challenging the authority of monarchs and the church. These ideas were not immediately accepted. They spread through underground societies, pamphlets, and secret meetings. What made the Enlightenment a silent revolution was not the immediate overthrow of power, but the gradual shift in thinking that would lead to major political revolutions, such as the American and French revolutions in more modern history. The rise of social movements focused on civil rights and equality can also be seen as silent revolutions. The civil rights movement in the United States, for example, was not just a series of public marches and protests. It was a quiet, underlying shift in the values of American society. Activists like Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X were part of a larger movement that sought to challenge deeply ingrained racial prejudices and discriminatory laws. However, the real revolution came not only through the legal changes and public actions, but through the quiet transformation in the hearts and minds of individuals. They began to see equality in a new light. Similarly, the feminist movements that swept through the 19th and 20th centuries represented silent revolutions that changed the role of women in society. These movements often started with small, local efforts, but slowly gained momentum through education, activism, and the sharing of ideas. Women began to demand the right to vote, access education, and have equal rights in the workplace. The true power of these silent revolutions lay in their ability to challenge long-standing societal norms, pushing for systemic change that ultimately transformed gender roles and expectations around the world. The fall of the Soviet Union is another example of a silent revolution. While it seemed to happen almost overnight with the collapse of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the eventual disintegration of the USSR in 1991, the groundwork for this revolution had been laid quietly over decades. The spread of ideas of freedom, democracy, and capitalism had infiltrated the Eastern Bloc through underground publications, smuggled literature, and secret radio broadcasts. These ideas were not loud or overt, but over time they eroded the ideological foundation of the Soviet regime. The real revolution occurred not with a sudden explosion of political upheaval, but in the quiet but profound shift in the minds of people who had grown disillusioned with their government's control. Even in the realm of technology, silent revolutions have taken place. The development of the internet, for example, was not a single dramatic event, but rather a gradual, ongoing revolution that has transformed almost every aspect of modern life. What began as a military communication tool evolved into a global network that changed the way people communicate, access information, and conduct business. While the rise of the internet was driven by large tech companies and governments, its true revolution lay in its democratizing effect on society. The internet provided a platform for people to share their voices, spread ideas, and organize movements, all without the need for traditional institutions of power. Silent revolutions also occur within individuals as personal transformations lead to broader societal changes. The rise of mindfulness, meditation, personal development is an example of a revolution that begins quietly within individuals but has ripple effects throughout communities and cultures. As more people embrace these practices, they challenge traditional views of success, happiness, and well-being. These shifts in individual consciousness, while subtle, can lead to profound changes in how people relate to one another, to the world, and to themselves. What makes silent revolutions so powerful is that they often go unnoticed until their effects are widespread and undeniable. They are not marked by sudden eruptions of change, but by a gradual, persistent shift in thought, behavior, and social organization. These revolutions are slow burners, quiet forces that, over time, accumulate in strength and influence. By the time the world recognizes their impact, the revolution is already well underway, quietly reshaping the very foundations of society. Throughout history, the influence of occult prophecies has woven itself into the fabric of societal change, guiding individuals, groups, and even entire civilizations toward a destined future. These prophecies, often rooted in mysticism, astrology, and esoteric wisdom, have been considered both a glimpse into the unknown and a hidden truth that only a select few could truly understand. They are not mere predictions, but messages wrapped in symbolism, requiring interpretation from those capable of perceiving their deeper meanings. Occult prophecies have influenced the course of wars, the rise and fall of empires, and the fate of individuals, often leaving behind a trail of mystery that captivates the minds of those who dare to seek the truth. One of the most famous examples of occult prophecy comes from the ancient oracles of Greece. The Oracle of Delphi, in particular, held a profound role in Greek society, with Pythia, the high priestess, delivering cryptic prophecies to those who sought her guidance. Kings, generals, and common citizens alike traveled to Delphi, hoping to receive a glimpse of the future. but the prophecies given were rarely straightforward. They were often riddles or allegories that required interpretation, and their true meanings were understood only by those who could decipher them. The prophecy of King Croesus, for instance, warned that if he crossed the river Halys to wage war, he would destroy a great empire. It turned out that the empire destroyed was his own. This example illustrates the complex and paradoxical nature of occult prophecies, where their fulfillment is not always as clear-cut as it may first appear. In the Middle Ages, prophecies continued to hold immense sway over the actions of rulers and religious figures. The prophecies of Nostradamus, for instance, are some of the most well-known occult predictions of all time. Nostradamus, a 16th century astrologer and physician, published a series of quatrains that many believed foretold future events. From the rise of Napoleon to the destruction of the Twin Towers in New York, whether his predictions were accurate or merely the result of clever wording remains a subject of debate. But the fact that his prophecies have remained relevant for centuries speaks to their power in shaping human consciousness. The occult nature of his work, shrouded in metaphor and mysticism, allows for multiple interpretations, making it possible for people to see relevance in his words in almost any era. In more recent history, occult prophecies have continued to influence global events, particularly in the realms of religion and politics. Some have argued that the rise of World War II was in part predicted by the mystic Helena Blavatsky, one of the founders of Theosophy. Blavatsky's teachings focused on hidden spiritual knowledge and the idea of a masters of wisdom guiding humanity's progress. Her prophecies were vague and often difficult to understand, but they set the stage for a generation that believed in a hidden hand shaping global events. Her influence extended well beyond the esoteric community, as many saw her as a prophet of sorts, giving her prophecies a weight that they may not have had otherwise. The power of occult prophecies lies in their ability to captivate the imagination, even when the meaning of these prophecies remains unclear. They offer a sense of purpose or destiny, understanding that events are not entirely random, but are part of a larger cosmic plan. The idea of a predestined future provides people with a sense of security, even in the midst of chaos, and offers a comforting belief that the forces of the universe are at work, guiding humanity toward its inevitable future. In times of uncertainty, occult prophecies give people a reason to hope, a vision of a future that has already been written. Only they can understand the cryptic messages that lead them there. Occult prophecies are also closely tied to the idea of secret knowledge. This knowledge, available only to those who are initiated into its mysteries, is a form of hidden wisdom that offers insight into the workings of the universe. To understand these prophecies is to tap into a deeper layer of reality, where time and space are fluid, and the future is not a fixed path, but a series of interconnected possibilities. This idea of secret knowledge continues to captivate individuals and groups who seek to unlock the mysteries of existence and their place within it. While some may dismiss occult prophecies as mere superstition or fanciful thinking, their influence cannot be denied. They have shaped religions, inspired political movements, and even altered the trajectory of history. The belief in a higher, hidden order governing the universe continues to resonate with those who seek meaning in a world that often seems chaotic and unpredictable. Whether or not these prophecies are truly accurate is beside the point. The power they hold lies in their ability to inspire, influence, and guide the course of human events, even when their true meaning remains obscured. Veiled influence operates in the space between power and perception, where actions are taken without revealing their true purpose or origin. This form of influence is subtle, often undetected, and yet profoundly impactful. It works behind the curtains, hidden from the public eye, while shaping the course of events, guiding decisions, and molding the direction of entire societies. Those who wield veiled influence do not seek the spotlight. Instead, They rely on their ability to control the narrative from the shadows, ensuring that their objectives are achieved without ever exposing their hand. In the realm of politics, veiled influence is often seen in the way decisions are made through backroom deals, lobbyist efforts, and indirect manipulation. Political leaders, while often appearing to act independently, are frequently guided by invisible forces, whether powerful corporate interests, wealthy donors, or secretive organizations. These influences may not be visible to the public, but they have the power to sway legislation, shape policy, and determine the fate of nations. The public may see only the surface of these decisions, but beneath the surface lies a network of hidden influence that has carefully orchestrated the outcome. One of the most classic examples of veiled influence can be found in the world of corporate lobbying. Large multinational corporations often operate behind the scenes to shape laws and regulations to their advantage, using their resources to subtly push their agenda through legal and political channels. These corporations do not always do so publicly. Instead, they use a network of intermediaries, lobbyists, think tanks, and political operatives to influence policy. The decisions that emerge may appear to be the result of democratic processes, but in reality, they may have been crafted behind closed doors by individuals who remain anonymous to the public. In the world of secret societies, veiled influence operates with even more subtlety. Groups like the Freemasons, the Illuminati, and the Bilderberg Group have long been accused of using their networks to influence world events, from elections to wars to financial crises. While these groups may not wield overt power, their influence is believed to be vast and far-reaching. Members of these societies, often drawn from the highest echelons of politics, business, and society, are thought to work in unison to guide the world toward a common goal, whether that goal is the maintenance of power, the promotion of certain ideologies, or the consolidation of wealth. Their influence is veiled, operating quietly behind the scenes, ensuring that decisions are made in their favor without ever revealing their true hand. Veiled influence can also be found in the media, where narratives are shaped and manipulated without the public's knowledge. In a world where information is power, the ability to control what people see, hear, and read is a potent tool of influence. Media conglomerates, often owned by a small number of powerful individuals or corporations, can sway public opinion by selectively reporting events, controlling the framing of news stories, and choosing which topics receive coverage. This form of veiled influence ensures that the public's understanding of events is guided in a particular direction, shaping societal beliefs, political ideologies, and even cultural norms. In the spiritual and religious realms, veiled influence is also at play. Many secretive religious orders and mystical traditions have had an outsized impact on the world, guiding the beliefs of their followers and influencing major historical events. These orders, operating in secrecy, are believed to pass down hidden teachings that shape the spiritual paths of their initiates. The influence of these teachings, while not visible on the surface, can guide the thoughts and actions of those who follow them through rituals, symbols, and esoteric knowledge. Secretive groups influence their members in ways that remain hidden from the outside world. The power of veiled influence lies in its ability to remain undetected, operating in the shadows while still exerting control over events. It works through suggestion, manipulation, and subtle pressure, ensuring that the desired outcomes are achieved without the need for direct confrontation or public acknowledgement. By keeping its actions hidden, veiled influence can maintain its power over time, shaping the course of history without ever revealing its true face. In many ways, veiled influence is more effective than overt control, as it operates without resistance. The public, unaware of the forces guiding their decisions, are less likely to push back against the status quo. This secrecy allows those who wield veiled influence to maintain control, while avoiding the scrutiny that comes with visible power. As a result, those who operate in the shadows often hold more sway over the world than those who appear to be in positions of authority. At the heart of many covert movements and powerful organizations lie secret agendas, hidden plans, desires, and motivations that drive actions behind closed doors. These agendas are carefully guarded, often inaccessible to the general public, but they shape the decisions of leaders, influence global events, and guide the actions of individuals in positions of power. While the public might see only the surface, whether it be a political decision, corporate move, or a military action, the true motivations often remain obscured, locked behind layers of secrecy. Secret agendas can often be found in the corridors of power, where those in charge quietly pursue their own goals, far removed from the public eye. Political leaders, for example, they present one set of policies and public statements to their citizens, right? But behind closed doors, they may be working toward a different goal. Their decisions may not be based on the needs or desires of the people. They govern but on the hidden interests of corporations, foreign governments, or powerful lobbyists. These hidden motives influence everything from economic policies to military strategies, often in ways that the public never fully understands. One notable example of a secret agenda in history is the creation and use of the atomic bomb during World War II. The United States' development of nuclear weapons through the Manhattan Project was carried out in total secrecy. The true purpose and potential consequences of the project hidden from the public and even from many within the government. While the project was officially justified as a means to end the war with Japan, the long-term agenda behind the development of nuclear weapons was far more complex, shaping the course of the Cold War, influencing global power dynamics, and positioning the U.S. as the dominant nuclear power in the post-war world. Similarly, secret agendas are often behind corporate mergers and acquisitions, where companies seek to consolidate power and influence, often without transparency. Behind the public-facing rhetoric of creating a better business model or increasing shareholder value, these mergers may be driven by hidden motives, such as eliminating competition, gaining access to critical resources, or strengthening ties with influential political figures. These agendas can reshape entire industries, often without the consumer or worker ever realizing the true reasons behind corporate decisions. The influence of secret agendas can also be seen in the rise of global organizations like the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund. While these organizations present themselves as entities working for peace, economic development, and human rights, their true agendas often align with the interests of powerful member states. In multinational corporations, their policies and actions, particularly in the developing world, are frequently driven by hidden motivations, such as securing economic advantages, expanding political influence, or perpetuating global systems of inequality. These agendas, though often masked under the guise of goodwill, influence decisions that affect millions of lives around the world, even within the realm of secret societies. Secret agendas are key to understanding their power. The Freemasons, the Illuminati, and other shadowy organizations are often accused of pursuing hidden agendas that influence politics, culture, and economics in ways that are never publicly acknowledged. Whether these societies exist in the way they are portrayed in popular culture or not, the idea of a secret agenda, the notion that there are powerful, hidden organizations working to shape the future, remains a central theme in many conspiracy theories. These secret agendas are believed to be the driving forces behind major events, such as wars, economic crises, and social changes that appear to have no clear explanation. What makes secret agendas so powerful is that they remain unseen. The public may debate policies and decisions. They are often unaware of the true motivations that lie behind them. Hidden nature allows those who operate with secret agendas to push forward their goals without facing resistance. The more veiled and secretive the agenda, the more difficult it is for the public to push back. Allowing those with hidden interests to maintain control and influence. The danger of secret agendas lies in their ability to manipulate reality. When the true reasons behind political, corporate, or social decisions are hidden, it becomes nearly impossible for people to understand the full implications of those decisions. The general public is left to react to surface-level events, unaware of the underlying forces driving them. In this way, secret agendas can steer society in a direction that benefits a select few, often at the expense of the majority. The most devastating conflicts in human history are not always those fought with open declarations, visible armies, or televised battles. Sometimes, the most significant wars are those fought in secret, their consequences felt only by those who are directly involved, while the broader population remains unaware. These hidden wars operate under a veil of secrecy, fought not on battlefields, but in intelligence operations, economic sanctions, covert military interventions, and subversive political maneuvers. These wars can reshape nations, topple governments, and alter the course of history, all while staying out of the public eye. One of the most striking examples of a hidden war is the Cold War, which, despite never erupting into a direct, military confrontation between the United States and the Soviet Union, was nonetheless one of the most intense and far-reaching conflicts of the 20th century. It was a war fought through proxy battles, espionage, economic competition, and ideological influence. Both superpowers waged covert operations around the world, toppling governments, manipulating elections, and supporting rebels, all while avoiding direct engagement. The Korean War, the Vietnam War, and various other conflicts in the Middle East and Latin America were all part of this broader, hidden struggle for global dominance. In many cases, hidden wars are not fought with traditional weapons. Instead, they are battles for influence and control over resources, markets, and minds. Cyber warfare, for instance, is one of the modern manifestations of a hidden war. Nations and non-state actors use cyber attacks to infiltrate systems, steal information, and disable critical infrastructure, all without the need for conventional military force. These attacks can cripple economies, disrupt elections, and even undermine national security, all without a single soldier stepping onto the battlefield. The public may be aware of high-profile cyber acts, but the true scale and scope of this hidden war remain largely concealed. Economic warfare is another form of hidden conflict, where nations or organizations wage war through financial means. Sanctions, trade embargoes, currency manipulation are tools used by powerful states to weaken their adversaries without firing a shot. A prime example of economic warfare can be seen in the U.S. embargo on Cuba, which has lasted for decades, or in the sanctions imposed on Iran. These wars are fought in financial markets and diplomatic halls, where the goal is to isolate, destabilize, or cripple an adversary without the need for traditional military intervention. One of the most insidious forms of hidden war is the manipulation of information and media. The information war is fought through the distortion of facts, spread of disinformation, and the control of narratives. This is a war for control over what people believe, a battle for the minds of the population. Governments, corporations, and even individuals use propaganda and psychological operations to shape public opinion and undermine their enemies. The rise of social media has made this form of warfare more potent than ever, as disinformation can spread rapidly across the globe, clinching elections, destabilizing governments, and creating divisions within societies. In some cases, hidden wars are fought within the borders of a single nation, as rival factions battle for control behind the scenes. These shadow wars can take many forms, from secret military operations to political assassinations, as competing elites vie for power and influence. In the history of many authoritarian regimes, These hidden wars manifest as internal power struggles, where factions within the government, military, or intelligence services seek to eliminate their rivals. These wars often remain invisible to the public, with only a few key players truly understanding the stakes. The consequences of these conflicts, however, can be profound, as they shape the direction of national policy and influence the lives of millions. What makes hidden wars so dangerous is their ability to be fought in ways that are not immediately visible. Traditional wars are fought with guns, bombs, and soldiers, making their consequences clear. Hidden wars, on the other hand, unfold in ways that are far more subtle and complex, often affecting a larger population over a longer period of time. The effects of these conflicts can ripple through society, destabilizing economies, changing the political landscape, and altering the course of history, all while remaining out of sight. Hidden wars are also marked by a lack of transparency and accountability. Because these conflicts are fought in secrecy, those who wage them often escape scrutiny, allowing them to operate with little fear of repercussions. The lack of oversight in these covert operations creates a dangerous environment where the actions of powerful individuals and organizations go unchecked, leading to abuses of power and the manipulation of global events for private gain. Ultimately, hidden wars reveal the dark side of human power, the ways in which influence can be wielded in secrecy to shape the world without the public ever knowing the full extent of the conflict. These wars are fought not with visible armies, but with hidden strategies, secret alliances, and covert actions, and their consequences can be far-reaching and profound. Coded conspiracies have existed throughout history, woven into the fabric of power struggles, secret societies, and hidden agendas. These conspiracies are not always overt. Instead, they operate in the background, hidden in cryptic messages, symbols, and secretive communications. Their true intentions are often obscured, only revealed to those who are initiated into the hidden knowledge or who possess the ability to decode their messages. Coded conspiracies often operate with precision, shaping events, manipulating leaders, and guiding the course of history without leaving clear evidence for the masses to see. They thrive in secrecy, relying on the ability to disguise their actions and create layers of deception. One of the most famous examples of coded conspiracies is the history of the Illuminati, a secret society founded in 1776. The Illuminati, according to popular lore, sought to overthrow traditional religious and political structures, replacing them with a rational, secular order. Though the true extent of their influence is debated, many conspiracy theorists argue that the Illuminati has continued to operate in secret for centuries, guiding global events and shaping the political landscape from the shadows. Society's use of coded messages, symbols, and hidden rituals is believed to be a means of maintaining secrecy and controlling their operations without detection. Similarly, the Freemasons, with their rich history of symbols and rituals, are often linked to coded conspiracies. While the public image of the Freemasons is one of charitable work and fraternal bonds, conspiracy theorists have long suggested that the group's hidden knowledge and allegorical teachings are a way of covertly influencing politics, business, and society. The Freemasons' use of symbols such as the all-seeing eye, the square and compass, and other esoteric imagery is often interpreted as a coded language, known only to initiates, that conveys hidden truths and agendas. Whether these theories are true or not, the use of coded symbols has certainly contributed to the mystique and allure of secret societies throughout history. Coded conspiracies also manifest in the world of politics. Governments, intelligence agencies, and political leaders have long used covert communications and encoded messages to carry out their plans, often with the intention of keeping their actions hidden from the public. One example of this can be found during World War II, when the Allied forces used coded messages to communicate securely, preventing Nazi forces from intercepting their plans. The use of codes, ciphers, and secret communications allowed these forces to carry out covert operations, moving under the radar and keeping their true intentions concealed from their enemies. In the modern era, coded conspiracies can be seen in the manipulation of the media and public opinion. Governments, corporations, and even individuals may use hidden messages, coded language, or disinformation campaigns to manipulate the masses. These conspiracies operate through the dissemination of carefully crafted narratives hidden in plain sight to shape public perception and influence the outcome of elections, wars, and social movements. The true motivations behind these efforts are often disguised, leaving the public unaware of the forces at work behind the scenes. The true power of coded conspiracies lies in their ability to operate beneath the surface, unseen and undetected. They thrive on secrecy, relying on the ability to disguise their intentions and work in the shadows. Because these conspiracies are often encoded hidden within layers of symbolism, secret communications, or disinformation, they can remain undetected for long periods of time, influencing the course of events without anyone realizing their existence. Their complexity, their reliance on hidden codes, and their ability to operate out of sight make them a potent force in shaping the world. Moreover, the very existence of these conspiracies often goes unchallenged, as the public is either unaware of their presence or unable to decode their true meaning. The use of coded language and secret communication ensures that only a select few are privy to the true nature of these conspiracies, leaving the rest of the world to act in ignorance. This creates an environment in which power is concentrated in the hands of those who possess the knowledge of the code, and the masses remain unaware of the forces that shape their lives. In a world where information is increasingly controlled and manipulated, the role of coded conspiracies becomes even more significant. As technology advances and communication becomes more instantaneous, the potential for secret agendas to operate under the radar grows. In this environment, the ability to read between the lines, to decode hidden messages, and to uncover the truths behind the surface-level narratives becomes an essential skill for those who seek to understand the true forces at play in the world. Esoteric influence operates in the world of the unseen, where knowledge, power, and influence are wielded by a select few who understand the deeper workings of the universe. Unlike mainstream power, which is often overt and visible, esoteric influence is subtle and hidden, moves through secret teachings, ancient wisdoms, and hidden traditions that only those who are initiated into the mysteries can fully understand. Those who hold esoteric knowledge are able to shape events, manipulate individuals, and guide the course of history without revealing their true motivations or methods. Esoteric knowledge has long been considered a form of power. It's often held by spiritual leaders, philosophers, and secret societies. This knowledge is not the kind of information that is freely available to the public. It is passed down through initiations, rituals, and sacred texts meant only for those who have demonstrated the capacity to comprehend and apply it. The very nature of esoteric knowledge is that it is hidden. It is not meant to be shared with everyone, and those who seek it must do so with reverence and respect for its power. Throughout history, various secret organizations have used esoteric influence to shape political, social, and religious structures. The Freemasons, for example, are known to possess a body of esoteric teachings that guide their members' actions and beliefs. These teachings, often steeped in symbolism and allegory, are said to offer insights into the mysteries of life, the universe, and the divine. Through their rituals and symbols, Freemasons believe they can access higher levels of understanding, which in turn allows them to influence the world around them in subtle and often invisible ways. Similarly, the Rosicrucians, a mystical and esoteric organization founded in the early 17th century, claimed to possess secret knowledge that could lead to spiritual enlightenment and transformation. The Rosicrucian teachings blended alchemy, astrology, and Kabbalistic mysticism, offering a path toward unlocking hidden truths about the nature of reality. This esoteric influence was not just about spiritual awakening. It also carried with it the power to affect the material world by understanding the hidden forces of nature. The Rosicrucians believed that they could influence the course of events and even shape the future in the 20th century. The influence of esoteric knowledge was also present in the rise of new religious movements and philosophical ideologies. Figures like Aleister Crowley, the infamous occultist, and his followers used esoteric teachings to promote a new spiritual and philosophical paradigm. Crowley's teachings on magic, the occult, and personal transformation were based on the Pitoge, and personal transformation were based on Starbucks, and his followers made/abetics, and his followers used esoteric teachings to promote a new spiritual and spedometal belief that those who understood the hidden laws of the universe could shape their own reality. This esoteric influence went beyond mere personal belief, was seen as a tool for revolutionizing society and individual consciousness. Esoteric influence is not confined to religious or mystical traditions. It also operates in the realms of politics, economics, and even science. Thinkers like Pythagoras, Plato, and Leonardo da Vinci were deeply involved in esoteric traditions, believing that understanding the mysteries of the cosmos could lead to a greater understanding of the physical world. These thinkers, while often regarded as philosophers or scientists, were also practitioners of hidden knowledge, using esoteric principles to guide their discoveries and innovations. In the modern world, esoteric influence can still be seen in the actions of those who possess secret knowledge or operate in covert organizations. This influence is often most effective when it is hidden from the public eye, working in the background to shape decisions and events. For example, powerful corporations and government agencies often use esoteric principles to guide their strategies, manipulating the flow of information, economic markets, and public opinion in ways that are invisible to most people. This form of esoteric influence is not mystical or supernatural light. It is based on a deep understanding of human psychology, sociology, and the hidden forces that govern society. One of the most powerful aspects of esoteric influence is its ability to remain hidden. Those who wield this form of power understand that visibility often invites resistance. By operating in secret, those with esoteric knowledge can guide the world in subtle ways, shaping events without attracting attention or opposition. The hidden nature of this influence allows it to work undetected, making it more difficult to challenge or expose. Ultimately, esoteric influence is about control of knowledge, control of perception, and control of reality itself. Those who possess esoteric knowledge are able to see the world through a different lens, understanding the deeper forces at work behind the surface-level chaos. This knowledge allows them to manipulate events, sway individuals, and shape the course of history in ways that remain invisible to the public eye. The true power of esoteric influence lies in its secrecy and its ability to affect change without being seen. Throughout history, there has been a deep belief in unseen forces, powerful, invisible energies or entities that guide the course of events, shape the destinies of individuals, and influence the ebb and flow of entire civilizations. These forces, though invisible to the naked eye, are thought to govern the fabric of reality, bending it to their will in ways that the public does not understand. From the divine to the mystical, from cosmic laws to the human psyche, unseen forces are believed to act as both creators and destroyers, shaping the world from behind the veil of perception. The concept of unseen forces can be traced back to ancient civilizations where gods, spirits, and other supernatural entities were thought to control the forces of nature and human fate. In ancient Egypt, for instance, the gods were not just mythological figures. They were believed to have direct influence over the physical world. Ra, the sun god, controlled the movement of the sun and the cycles of the seasons, while Osiris, the god of the afterlife, governed the souls of the deceased. These unseen forces were seen as essential to the balance and order of the cosmos. With the power to shape everything from the outcome of battles to the fate of individuals in the spiritual realm, unseen forces are often described as higher powers, such as divine beings, angels, or the universe itself, that guide the lives of human beings. The belief in fate or destiny is rooted in the idea that unseen forces are at work, orchestrating the events of one's life according to a larger, divine plan. This is often seen in religious beliefs where individuals surrender their lives to the will of a higher power, trusting that these unseen forces will guide them toward their ultimate purpose. Similarly, in Eastern philosophies like Hinduism and Buddhism, the belief in karma suggests that unseen forces govern the cycle of cause and effect, determining the course of one's life based on past actions beyond the realm of the divine unseen. Forces can also refer to psychological and emotional influences that shape human behavior. These forces operate within the subconscious mind, affecting decisions, desires, and actions in ways that individuals may not be fully aware of. In Freudian psychoanalysis, for example, the unconscious mind is seen as a powerful force that drives human behavior. Repressed memories, desires, and fears shape an individual's actions and perceptions, even though they may not be consciously aware of them. Similarly, Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious suggests that there are shared, invisible psychological forces that influence societies and cultures across generations, shaping shared myths, archetypes, and social structures in modern times. Unseen forces are often linked to the realm of covert operations and influence. Governments, intelligence agencies, and corporations wield unseen forces in the form of manipulation, disinformation, and propaganda. These forces may not be as tangible as armies or financial institutions, but they exert significant influence over public opinion, political outcomes, and social dynamics. A prime example of this is the deep state, a term used to describe the shadowy networks of power that operate behind the scenes of official government structures, making decisions that influence global events without public knowledge or accountability. The concept of unseen forces is also central to the world of economics. Economic forces such as inflation, market trends, and financial instability are often invisible to the general population, yet they have a profound effect on people's lives. Financial crises, for instance, may seem to come out of nowhere, yet they are the result of a complex web of unseen economic forces, market manipulation, government policies, global supply chains, and corporate decisions that influence the global economy in ways that are often beyond the public's understanding. These unseen forces shape the financial landscape, determining who prospers and who suffers. One of the most pervasive unseen forces in the modern world is the influence of technology. The rise of the digital age has brought with it a new form of invisible power. The algorithms, artificial intelligence, and data-driven systems that control everything from social media feeds to online shopping experiences. These digital forces are largely invisible, yet they shape our daily lives, influencing our decisions, emotions, and behaviors. The way we consume information, form opinions, and interact with others is increasingly shaped by unseen forces in the form of digital algorithms that prioritize certain content and suppress others. What makes unseen forces so powerful is their ability to shape events without detection. While visible forces, such as military power, political influence, or public protests can be contested and challenged, unseen forces often operate below the surface, out of sight and out of reach. Their true impact is felt over time, often in subtle ways, until the consequences of these forces become undeniable. Their influence cannot be easily traced, and often those who wield them do so from the shadows, ensuring that their power remains unchallenged. In a world where transparency and accountability are increasingly demanded, unseen forces continue to hold immense sway. They shape our world in ways that we may not fully understand, guiding the course of history, culture, and society without ever revealing their true nature. These invisible forces are the architects of much of what happens in the world, shaping not only the events of today, but also the future of humanity. Throughout history, secret societies, hidden agendas, and subtle influences have quietly shaped the course of events, often without the public ever being aware of the forces at play. These unseen hands guide the destinies of nations, the actions of leaders, and the lives of individuals, weaving a complex web of power and knowledge that transcends time and place. From the cryptic rituals of ancient mystics to the veiled influence of modern corporations, these hidden forces have operated in the shadows, leaving behind a legacy that is both profound and elusive. What makes these forces so powerful is their ability to remain unseen, to act without detection, and to shape the world without revealing their true motives. Whether through esoteric knowledge, coded conspiracies, or silent revolutions, the hidden currents of history continue to flow beneath the surface, unseen yet ever present. These forces remind us that the course of human events is rarely determined by what is visible on the surface, but rather by the subtle, visible powers that operate in the background. In exploring the paradoxical nature of these hidden influences, we are reminded that the greatest forces in the world are often the ones that go unnoticed. These unseen forces may not always be understood, but their impact is undeniable. They shape our understanding of the past, influence our present, and ultimately guide the future. In the end, we realize that while we may think we are forging a new path forward, we are often walking in the footsteps of those who came before us, guided by forces that are both timeless and mysterious. The hidden world of secret societies, coded rituals, and veiled influences is not one of shadows and darkness. It is a world of hidden truths, told power, and profound knowledge, waiting to be uncovered by those who dare to look beyond the surface. As we move forward into the future, it is these unseen forces that will continue to shape our world, quietly guiding us along a path that, though hidden, is no less real or significant.